Hello, hello. Hi. All right. We're back. Gonna work on Cast, the programming language. Here. Last time we made it so that I can have references, right? So I have references, and then I can also dereference those references. Like that. What if I do x is equal yo? Because I can mutate things, right? That's mutating the thing in the same place. So if, like, the reference to x and now points to yo, right? Because I mutated x, the reference is to the same thing. Yeah, there you go. That works. That works. What doesn't work though is I broke some tests because previously I did not have any movement semantics, but now we do move the things out sometimes. If I try running the tests, then 10 tests fail and only 6 of them pass. So let's go over them one by one. Variant types. Just run examples. Variant types. So you can see that the errors in most of these is going to be probably just the place has been moved out because something is not copy anymore, right? Okay, variant types 10. Examples, variant types, line number 10. So in this specific example, the value is the thing that has been moved out. Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense because over here, I think in order to do this pattern matching, I already moved it out. Yes. So I'm trying to see if value is some value, right? It's specifically the variant sum of the optional string. So that's the alternative in Rust to say if let some value is value, right? That's what we do here. So when you do this in Rust, that also moves the value, right? So what I want to do here is okay, I think so. Like the way it's supposed to work actually is that pattern matching should be able to match by reference and not by value, right? Yeah. So in Rust, there is a thing that is called pattern matching ergonomics. Rust match ergonomics. Rust match ergonomics. This has been out there for a long time, but in the beginning, this was not the way. And I think we are going to do it the old Rust way and not the current Rust way. If you do in Rust right now, you say let value. So let's just convert this example directly, right? That I have value is some hello. So value is some hello. Specifically, I'm using owned strings here, so we do to owned, right? This is an optional string, right? That's what we do, and then we say if let some value is value, then we do something, and then we try to do something else with it, right? Value, like let's print it, for example. So this is in Rust not going to compile. Right now I don't have the borrowed checker. I don't have the borrow checker. So I instead have the borrow checker in runtime, which is exactly what we have. We have a runtime error about the fact that something has been moved out, right? Because over here, I'm moving the value into the pattern matching. So in Rust, you can just fix this error by matching the reference. But first of all, I cannot do the matching of the references yet. Can I choose the old Rust version here? I don't think I can, right? Edition. If I choose 2015 edition, that still works. Okay, so the ergonomics, they work in 2015 too. Yeah, that's the old feature. But yeah, anyway, so like you see, I'm matching on a reference, but I'm matching directly on the thing, which is not a reference. So in Rust 2015, you would have to do a reference here, because this is a reference, right? So the type of this thing should be equal to the type of that. Right now we do automatic referencing when pattern matching, basically. That's what the match ergonomics is about, right? After this RFC, the above form still works, but now we now also do the simpler form. So when I match on a reference, and then I match it against something that's not a reference, we automatically take references to all the inner things. But previously, we would have to match on a reference, and then specifically when pattern matching a certain thing, we use the ref keyword, which still works, of course. You can also, you also don't really need to have a reference here, right? But when you're matching something, yeah, I guess like just in general. Yeah, I guess in general, when I'm matching something, I don't need this to be a reference, right? I can instead say that this is some ref value. So this thing is taken by reference and not by not being moved. So I need to support something like that, is right? I think. So literally the example would be if value is some ref value, right? So in this case, the value, in this case, the value is going to be of type reference to string, and not a string directly. Hello, Nigel. Some ref value. Yeah, I mean, I guess even if you have a reference here, you would still need to like add a reference here. So like the ref keyword is always there. See you in 4 hours. I don't think I will be streaming for 4 hours. Today is going to be probably a short stream, because I started late. So we need to implement this pattern matching by not consuming a value, but by having a reference to it. Okay, what if I have a reference? Like, can I do this to a temporary value? Let's say over here I say some low to owned. Can I do that? I can. Because this temporary value lives for how long? How long does this value live for? For the entire if, I think, and in 2024 edition, it's only living for the branch. Is that right? Okay, so this works for temporaries too then. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what I... Yeah, okay. We need to have a ref matching. Would you do ref matching? The simplest form of that would be something like let x be hello. So right now if I do let y equal x,
It all started with getting farted on. Look how far we've come. Now you're pacing. You're all grown up.
I think it started before getting farted on, though. Yeah. But hello, Pigorly. Thank you for the sub. Hello, Nerdsoul. I'm implementing the ref matching so that I can, like I was saying, right? What are we doing here? X has been moved out, right? So if I say X is something that is not movable, right? Non-movable. Then I say let Y equals X. This moves the value of this string from X to Y, so that X is not usable anymore, right? But Y now contains the string. What I need to do, so like one way to not move it is to say that X equals to reference to Y now, right? That's what we can do. But also, I want to be able to do that during pattern matching. So I want to do X is equal Y, but I need to capture it by reference. So I need to do let ref X equals Y. The what matching? The ref matching. The reference matching. You know, you ever use the ref keyword in Rust to pattern match? Like a long time ago, that was basically necessary. Right now you have the Rust match ergonomics, but previously you did not have it. You've used it at least 2 times, yeah. So like, I don't think I want to implement like match ergonomics like in Rust yet. It's a little weird, like Rust like the match ergonomics. I mean, it's not too weird, I guess. It's like automatically dereferencing, but not everything is possible with match ergonomics anyway. So this ref keyword is still like necessary, as far as I understand it. Like there are certain things that are impossible to do without this, right? So you want to pattern match, but not take ownership of the value, but take like the reference to the matched value. And sometimes you want to have a mutable reference too with a ref mute, right? But yeah, I don't have dedicated mutable references yet, which I might add in the future too, right? Once again, there's going to be also the effect system for mutability. But I think the mutable references are still going to be used, which are basically like combining the power of the effects and references. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. When I'm matching things, I need to match them by reference, which means that in my patterns, right? These are all the patterns that we have right now. There should also be a pattern which is a reference pattern. It's not a like how do you say it? It's not the reference. Like there is a reference pattern which is literally like using the ampersand symbol, and then there's the ref keyword. Let's call it match ref. I don't know what to call it because I have literally 2 refs. Match with ref keyword. Match by reference. Maybe I call it by ref and not just ref, you know? Yeah. It's like different from matching the reference type. Wait, hold on. I think it's all bindings, right? Because when I use the ref keyword in Rust, this is only applicable to bindings directly, right? Like after the ref keyword, we can only have an identifier. Is that right? Wait, is that right? Wait, what if I allowed over here to have not? Yeah, but what if in cast I allowed this to be not only identifiers? Could I? I mean, only together with the ergonomics, though, I think. Like, you know, what if over here I had a tuple of two things? Tuple of A and B, right? Let's have function foo t a t b t. All we know about those is that, I don't know, we don't know nothing about it. Let's say std mem forget ab, right? So as of right now, this is going to say it's moved out, because value moved here to create this thing. Oh, that's right. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Let's say A is T and T instead. And we do just some A. But this also moves it. Fuck. Yeah. Okay, let's just do A. And then we do forget A. Right? Because this does not move the value. So we just do just if let ref value is A. Right? There we go. If I do it without the let, this is going to complain that the value has moved out. Yes? Yes. Okay. So can I like pattern match inside of the ref here? I don't think we can. Can I do let ref AB? No, we cannot. Yeah, this must be an identifier. Okay. But like, does this even make sense? This just automatically propagates the ref to both of them, because otherwise you would need to write let ref A and ref B, right? This is a little bit like yeah. Okay, I mean, let's just do this for now. Let's just do the same as in Rust. Let ref A, ref B. Yeah, like, I guess nested refs would not make any sense. I was thinking the same thing about the let. I believe you removed it, the smart emote. I don't know, I have limited emote slots. What should I replace it with? This one? No, I'm not replacing that one. Also, that one is not animated. There are animated slots are in separate, like, thing. Limits. But yeah, like I was saying before, you know how we can in Rust say let A and B equal like 1 and 2, right? You know how we can write this? But then I can also say A and B is equal to 1 and 2. Even though, I mean, for that to work, I need to make those mutable, right? But there is no way in Rust to both assign to existing value and introduce a new binding. So I cannot do something like A and let B is equal to 1 and 2. You know? Did you ever want this to work? Don't remember, but maybe. All right. Okay, I think for now I don't care, but I kind of want this, and maybe like you see how like this is basically means that let and then a pattern applies this thing to all of the bindings automatically, right? And similar to that, the ref keyword could apply the ref to all of the bindings inside of a pattern. Like literally the same thing. You know what I mean? Maybe. But I guess for now we can just do it to bindings, and bindings can be should have the bind. I guess we call it bind mode. Pattern bind mode. Let's do this. There's going to be a pattern bind mode. It's either move. I mean, either claim. I guess it's claiming the value, or it's referencing the value. There would also be ref not eventually, right? But I don't need it right now. I think I do something like this. So when I'm matching something, it's based on the bind mode. When I say collect bindings, I guess I don't really care about the mode. Okay. All right. When I'm compiling an identifier, if I'm compiling an identifier, then I say bind mode is pattern. Why do I not have the auto-completion here? Hello? Maybe it was not public. So in this case, we just claim it because it's just an identifier. Tell the keyword. Look. When I'm initializing, yeah, there you go. So when I'm initializing the thing, right? And we have a bind mode here. This is the type inference. If I'm binding a thing, so like by previously I was just always claiming the values, which means that the type of the binding, the type of the the identifier that we have there, right, is literally the same as the type of the thing that I'm pattern matching against. But now it's going to be a different thing, because that one is going to be so binding type must be a reference type, right? I guess I just I guess over here, type is going to be matching on the bind mode. Dependent on the bind mode. If it is the claiming, then I just say that the type is the same as the type of the binding. If it's a reference, then I say that binding type must be a reference to the type, to the actual type, right? So type, but the actual type is something that we don't know yet, not inferred, ref match. So we know that the binding is the reference type to the type of the thing that I'm matching against. Yeah. So like this. Now we should say infer as ref. That's what I do, right? And that's the same thing, technically. Yep. And that's nice. If I say then here, when I'm doing the actual pattern matching against the value, so this always takes the value by value, not by reference. Have you seen the theme for this LD? No. Wait, is LD started? It's Friday, no? I thought LD usually starts on Saturday. It's side effects. What? No, it's not the 1st of April anymore, Nerdsoul. What do you mean, did you vote for side effect? We can make a link cider too. Alright, I don't think I'm going to participate in this one though. Welcome to Ludum Dare. I think I'm too lazy. I'm going to play Factorio tomorrow. Are you going to do the Ludum Dare? Linkcider Deadling? Silk Song is officially this year? What? No, it's not for the 1st of April anymore, Nerdsoul. Silk Song is never going to be released. I don't believe you. Okay. So right now, the thing that is weird a little bit is that I'm always pattern matching here, and I'm always taking it by value. You know? But this should, but instead, I guess, when pattern matching, what I should be doing, I think what I should be doing is I should be pattern matching against a place, right? I made a mistake. I shouldn't get into Nick's rabbit hole. It's fucking mess and recommendations suck ass. But you already started going in there, so I don't know about you, but like personally, there's no way I go back. But I did make the same. I do think it's a mistake, but at the same time, do you really go back after diving in the Nyx world? I don't know, because there is no alternative, as far as I know. Hollow Knight, Silk Song makes brief appearance during Nintendo Switch 2 Direct to secure 2025 release window. This was posted on the 1st of April. Updated on the 2nd of April, but posted on the first one, right? No, posted on the 2nd. Still sus. Show my flake Nix. You can see my Nix files here. Somewhere. Hold on, Nix files. Does that work? Dots, maybe. Dot files. There you go. My bot dead? No, I have the bot that is not the overlay. The overlay bot is dead, but I had two bots, right? The real bot is dead. Not enough bots. I think that maybe like when the cast is working well enough, I can make a bot in cast. Before making like a game in cast, I can make a bot in cast. Bot is a relatively simple thing, right? I don't know. I think at this point you might know even like you might be even better at Nix than I am. King, I don't know. We're talking like 2030. What do you mean 2030? The bot release? No, I mean I can like I don't need to implement everything in Cast itself, right? I can use Cast as a scripting language, which would be embedded in my like some of the things could be done in Rust, but the actual logic of the bot could be done in Cast. You know, like connecting to the network, like making Cast usable as an embeddable scripting engine, basically, could be done. Maybe this month, I don't know. Depends on how much time am I spending on it. You're trying flake parts right now. Yeah, so like I looked at flake parts. I didn't really like. I mean, yeah, sure. I think it's not really like super necessary. Like having a module system though is good. So I do use modules. Like declaring your own modules is kind of nice. I mean, that's what the flake parts can give you, because you can define modules. Like the power of the modules is basically it's giving you the type system. Otherwise, Nix is a dynamically typed language, right? But with a module system, you can have types in Nix, which makes it easier to work with. So yeah, to define your own options and then like do stuff with it, you know? But I'm not really using the flake parts. I don't know. I'm too lazy to refactor my Nix anyway. To get Nix D or Nil to work, it does not complete for me. I do have some auto-completion, but I think it's working really weirdly. Like, for example, here's my flake Nix, right? I can say something like here, packages, dot. Wait, what? It doesn't work? Hold on, maybe it didn't work with Vim. Maybe I didn't set up with Vim. Maybe let's try Helix. Maybe it's working in VS Code. Maybe you just need to set up the NeoVim for it. Yeah, like you see, I have the syntax highlighting. No, not the syntax highlighting. I have the go to definition for sure here. But it doesn't work for like for everything. It works for only simple things. And also I can say something like A is packages dot. So packages, I have Nix packages FMT, I have NeoVim. Those are the fields in packages. What? Maybe I should go to, let's go to some NixOS configuration, maybe. Maybe like here. Maybe to packages, because I definitely had this thing with packages. Yeah, I do have it here. Look at this. I have the auto-completion for the packages inside the packages here. I don't know exactly how it works. Like, I didn't really look at it. Like, if I do a dot here, it doesn't work for some reason. Wait, what? Like, Like what am I supposed to do here? Maybe I do something like here, packages dot. Where's my autocompletion? It's weird. What's my LSP? Let's see. LSP. Like it works over here, right? Packages dot. Huh? So it doesn't work with packages dot, but I have the autocompletion of the packages themselves. What? Formatting doesn't work. Okay, let me try. Like maybe this is VS Code. Let's try VS Code. Nix files. Like Nix. Let's see. I tried different ones. I don't remember which one I use right now. How do I know? How do I know which one I use? NixOS. Audio. Packages. I don't have the autocompletion for like the NixOS options here too, so maybe it doesn't work. Filter on Nix FMT. Packages dot with packages. I think it's only, I don't know. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't work in VS Code. So it's only the Helix. Okay, so if we look at Helix then. If we look at Helix, then I have the what do I have here? I guess Helix is just working out of like whatever the default is there. Let me try the NeoVim again. Pretty sure I had it working in my NeoVim. NixOS audio. Like you see how I have this warning, right? Attribute packages, no argument is being used. So I definitely have the language server here. LSP info. I have NixD, right? There you go. I have NixD. So then I have I thought I had the autocompletion for the NixOS options too, but I don't know. I don't see it. Packages is packages dot. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I have autocompletion. There you go. So Google, yeah, there you go. Google Fonts, Google Chrome. I do have autocompletion. This says fields. I'm not sure how it works exactly though. Like it's weird. It's working sometimes, sometimes it doesn't work. And also like if I say, I think it's based on a name. Like it's weird, right? Like if I say let packages 2 is equal to packages in packages 2 dot, and then I don't have the autocompletion. See, like I literally need to say packages dot NeoVim, right? Then I have the autocompletion. Like it's based on name. It's weird. It's not the proper language server basically. The reason like is because the Nix is bad language. That's why. I think that I'm not even sure if it's possible to write the proper language server here. It's fake. I mean, it's a dynamically typed language. It's just like it's same as trying to autocomplete Python with no like type annotations. Like, how do you know what is it? What is what? Like all of the dynamically typed languages suck because of that. So they have some like fake mechanism. And like where do they even get the autocompletion information for the packages here? I think it's some like hard-coded Nix packages version. So if I was to use my own like custom fork of the Nix packages, I would not get the autocompletion for it anyway. How do you even type def? So you use the modules. I can show you an example. I use it mostly for my my like helper of the game engine. You use the modules, right? And inside the modules, you say something like this. You do so like usually when you define your configuration, you only specify the configuration, which is like the final thing, right? But you can also define your own options. You can do that in NixOS or like with Flake modules, whatever, with any module system. You can define your own modules. You say lib make option, you define your type, your defaults, you can have some descriptions there, and then your configuration actually is going to be type checked. You know? But the type checking is basically a runtime check. It's I don't know, like it's same as in Python, like checking the types at runtime. It's kind of that stuff. Not real types. It's basically checking if the value is correct at runtime. It's like a validator. Yeah, it's like a validator. All right. Anyway, I'm back to cast. I'm making the bindings work with different bind modes now. And like I was saying, the value here must actually be a place. So pattern matching, always matching against a place, not against a value, I think. And then it only claims the value if I want to claim it. But if I want to get it by reference, but I take a reference to it and I don't actually claim the value. Right? So this works for a place ref. Yeah. Place ref. There you go. And then I say matches. Okay. But then, like, what do I assign to this binding? I guess is the result, right? Yeah, I think so. Oxalica configuration. LSP configuration. There are some turnable options for nil. Yeah, that's a different one. I don't know which one is better. I think I tried that too. Nix binary, flake, alter archive, auto eval inputs, Nix packages input names. This option hierarchy is used to improve completion, but it may cost lots of time and memory. Like, it's weird, like you know, why do I even have, like, why is there only one Nix packages input? I literally use multiple Nix packages, because I want some packages to be more stable than the others. I have multiple Nix packages inputs, but they only allow me to have one. So, I don't know, I feel like, I just don't care too much. It sucks when I need to write some Nix, but it's okay. Eventually, maybe someone will make something similar to Nix, but with a better language. Nix but cast. Actually, like, can I make cast work as Nix? Because I already like kind of want cast to work. Like, I want to have cast be able to produce its own like compilable executables, right? So I want it to be a compilable language, but I also want it to be an interpretable language, a scripting language. I want to be an embeddable scripting language, so you can use it inside your game, which is written in a different language. We can, I don't know, maybe we can make it be used instead of a bash or like small scripts somehow easily. By changing the syntax a little bit. We can maybe make it work instead of Nix, I don't know. There was this thing. So there was another streamer on Twitch who's making the alternative to Nix actually. What's this thing called? I don't know what's like their current status is. NixD is much better. Yeah, I think that's why I was like moving to the NixD. But I don't know. I don't want to look too much into it. If you want to dig into this issue and you figure out how to make the language server like be good, let me know, I guess. I'll just copy paste your configuration. I don't want to go there. I think I'm deep enough. I don't want to go deeper. It's still difficult to find. Maybe. I just don't remember. I mean, if I remember the name, there's like a magic sword. Like, what are the different names of magic swords? It's like a popular magic sword. Is there a list of popular magic swords or something? A list of magical weapons. Let me see. Maybe I can find it in my starred repositories. Can I look at the list of the repositories that I starred? How do you do this even? Your stars. Vorpal, there you go. This one. Bring builds and ship software distributively using bring your own language configuration, so you don't need to use Nix basically. But other than that, it's basically Nix as far as I understand what they're trying to make. So instead of it being made with a language like Nix, it's based on like an API, and then you can use any language to talk to the API. Something. That's all that I know about it. I have not tried. And I'm not sure if it's usable yet or not. Place ref. Doesn't implement debug. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Pattern unit. Wait, does this mean actually? So if I talk about Rust, one of the interesting thing is, and actually this is a source of bugs. I have made a bug because of that. But you can say something like let underscore equals a. And this is going to compile. Bugs in Rust, impossible. Have you never had this bug when you say let underscore equals a, but you expect this to be dropped? So you need to have underscore drop always. Have you never did this? Because in this case it actually moves and destroys the value. Well, actually it doesn't really destroy it in this case. What exactly was the issue? I don't know, but like you see like the behavior is different. In this case it doesn't compile because it actually moves the a into this thing, but if I use the underscore then it doesn't move it. You know? Like it's different. So so sometimes instead of saying let underscore, you want to say let underscore and some name. So it actually takes the value. I don't remember what exactly is like the bug scenario. Rust let underscore. Maybe if I just do this. Confusing behavior of let underscore. From my experience, it's typically assumed by Rust program that let underscore simply drops the value. There you go. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because like you know, you don't bind to any values here, but you move the value into the pattern matching. That's what it looks like to me. You know? So because you move the value into pattern matching, but you don't actually assign it to any of the like identifiers in any bindings, you think that it drops, but it's not. It's literally not what it is. A friend ran into an issue today by the following code. Yeah, it's because of the locks. Look at this. Like if you are using the locks in your app, you do something like this. Let underscore is x lock. Yeah. So it's about... Yeah, in this case, the lock is going to be dropped immediately. Yes. Because it's a temporary. Right? So like this and that is different. There you go. So in this case, by assigning it to an identifier, you make sure that it's going to be dropped later. Let underscore is commonly used to suppress the must use warning. I think this should be documented. Like, what are the other people's options? Yes, this is already described in the book and the section linked from the syntax index. Like, what I can do though in my language, right, is I can well, I mean, let underscore would like always drop it anyway, right? But the thing is, if this is not a temporary, then it doesn't drop it, you know? So this only drops the things that are temporaries. But the things that are not temporaries, it doesn't drop, you know? It's kind of like weird a little bit. There are more. There is word on let x is x lock in the Clippy. So for example, Clippy does this what? Does this only for locks specifically? What is it called? Is this issue? Completed. Let underscore lock. Clippy warnings. Clippy lints. Underscore lock. So there's like let underscore lock. Checks if let underscore is sync lock. This supports mutex and the read-write lock and parking lot. For std lock, see the rust clint let underscore lock. Why is this bad? The special statement immediately drops the lock instead of extending the lifetime to the end of scope, which is often not intended. To extend the lock lifetime to the end of scope, use underscore prefix name it instead. Like, it's just not trivial. Like, like, have you really never hit this thing? Do you not use locks? Like, wouldn't this be the first thing that you write? Because you don't need it to name it, but you need it to be unlocked at the end of scope. Is there any other underscores? You use drop in a few places to drop a ref cell borrow. Yeah, explicit drops. I use explicit drops too. But in this case, you don't want to do an explicit drop, right? You want to do a lock, like and this is what you usually do, right? The other alternative is to make it and assign it not to the underscore thing, but then you would get a warning about unused thing, right? So you would probably want to have an explicit unlock, an explicit drop of a lock. Why do you not use the lock? Because the only usage of the lock is to like, I guess it's guarding something else, and not like the data behind, like I don't know, logs. Yeah. The log guard gives you the value underneath, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what was my scenario. Anyway, I'm just like thinking, what should I do here? Should I allow it literally to be the same as in Rust? Let me take a look at the Rust book. Rust, like, because they said that it is in the Rust book. The Rust programming language. Can I see let underscore? Can I search for this? Log. Please search for it. I just want to see what they say about it. Catch all patterns and the underscore placeholder. Maybe they do something here. That's not really about the A flat though. Chapter 19. Patterns and matching. All the places patterns can be used. Conditionally flat. Normal let statements. Flat underscore. No, it's not here. Alright, whatever. Whatever, I cannot find it. Okay. I guess I just do the same thing for now. Okay, so I have a unit. We assert equal that the place I can claim it here, it's fine. I'll do something like value inspect, value assert equals value and value unit. We just have an assert here, it's fine. When I am pattern matching against a unit, it must be a unit inside. Sure. So when I have a binding now, when I have a binding, when I have bind mode, right? So this is where the value is going to be based on the bind mode, right? If I am trying to claim a value, then I claim the value, right? Yes. And if I try if all I'm trying to do is to get a reference, then I just get the reference itself. Right? And I convert the reference into a value, right? So we have a value which is a reference. There you go. This can fail. Match impl returns an optional. Why does it return an optional? This should also return a result, because pattern matching can fail now because I potentially want to claim some values. What does it return an option? Okay, whatever. Let's just do wrap it in a result too. Return none, return some. Oh, like it's like, did it do it or not? It's like a failure, but a silent failure. Like if I match a variant, which is not the variant that I expected. Okay. Can't capture dynamic environment in FN item. The question mark operator cannot be used on options. Yeah, this should return a result. Cannot capture dynamic environment in FN item. Use the closure instead. Yes, I understand. This is a function. This is a recursive function that I need to cast here now. Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Which means that I need another argument here, cast. Sure. Match impl. If I'm going to just match this. If it was sum, we return some result. It's none, then we return none. And this returns okay. Right? That's how it works. And this returns okay sum. That makes sense. Match impl here returns a question mark. And I say that if this is none, return okay none. Return okay none. Okay, sure. Match impl. this, if this is none, return, okay, none. Oh, okay. What is field value? Value. Okay. So here's the thing, right? If I'm trying to pattern match against a variant now, value. Let me replace value to place, because I'm pattern matching against places now. Pattern matching against places. So if I'm trying to pattern match against variant types, this means that place, the value, I need to like inspect the value here, right? I need to inspect the value. Okay. So we say place inspect value, right? Now this value should be inferred, right? The only problem is like over here, the value is inferred. Value is inferred. It must be a variant value, okay. So we have a value pattern. So since this is places now, right? If I have a variant type, then inside of the variant type, I must store another place, right? Because I need to have a reference to the inner value, right? Do I have this? Because like, for example, and see the same for like tuples, right? If I want to have a reference to a field of a tuple or a reference to a list element, then inside here, yeah, see, this has owned place, right? So inside of the tuples, I actually store owned places. Same needs to go for like lists or list value, but this stores values directly. This should be an owned place instead. Okay, let's start with variance though. Variant value, this over here, value, this should be not a box value. This should be an owned place. All right, and then we fix all of the 1,000 errors that we get because of that. Let me fix the pattern matching though first. So place itself is a value, which is a variant value, inside of which we have another place, right? So I think I can clone it here, expect it to be inferred, and it's a variant. So value here is value clone, expect inferred, result value shape. Expect variant. Result variant value, yes. Oh, because inspects itself. Yeah, okay. So this should be a question mark. That's fine. You live on the stream expecting this to be complex and it turns out to be more complex than you expected. Hello, hello. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Right now, I'm working on So like I'm writing Rust here, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with Rust, but in Rust we have ownership semantics, which and we can have like references to values and things like that, right? Similar to C++. In C++, we also can have like references to things. So there's concepts like places. C++ calls them L values, R values, if it's a place or an actual value, right? So I am trying to have this something similar here. Right? So I'm just implementing the missing gaps here for it to work, right? So like, for example, we have like this thing here, variant. This is a variant data type, algebraic data type. Some types, like in Rust, they call them enums, right? So the data inside the variant, in order for me to construct a reference to the value inside, the value inside must live in its own place, right? And like the value lives inside the place. So we don't store the value directly inside the data structure. We store a place, and then inside the place we have the value. You know what I mean? If nothing makes sense to you, it's fine. If something makes sense, that's good. It means that I don't completely suck at explaining things. You can take a look at what I'm making here. We have a website, even although it's a little bit outdated. Yeah, so over here, the value is a variant value, right? Variant values in order to do the pattern matching properly must have the same name, yes. And then we see the value inside, right? So now the value inside a variant value is an owned place. The variant is kind of object-oriented. I wouldn't say it's object-oriented. It's more like, I think it's much closer to functional programming languages. You familiar with any functional programming languages? The thing that I'm working on right now is most similar to Rust and C++, because I think not a lot of languages have the concept of places in general. Languages with place concept, I don't know. I don't know what to search for here. You're very new learning Java? Oh, okay. Alright, good luck with Java. Java is a language, sure. I've worked with Java on a job. It's a good language to know if you want to make money. At least right now. Probably not going to change anytime soon either. So what am I doing here? The value in this case is an owned place. Let's take a reference to it, so that it's a reference to an owned place. So what I want is I want to get a place reference, which is not just a reference to a place, but I instead say value.ref, get ref. There you go. That's what I want. And then I pattern match recursively. That makes sense. Okay. Next we do the same for tuples. So tuples, I guess I can clone the places, yes. But I need to inspect the value inside the place and clone the value, right? Value itself must be cloned. Yeah. I think I do the same thing here. Instead of doing that. Yep. All right. And then over here, so the field value in this case is going to be what? Legacy packages doesn't mean packages are legacy, lol. Yeah, it doesn't. It's just like I guess it's just a legacy getter. It's a legacy name of a field because you can get the packages in other ways, but then referring to them as legacy. But yes. So over here, we have a field pattern, which is a pattern. We have a field value, which is a value. Wait, what? But why is it a value? I'm zipping it with value. Value is a tuple of values. But that's not right. So value clone inferred must be a tuple. This specifically is a tuple value. Value into values. Oh, yeah. So I don't need to make it to go into tuple values, right? Because this is a tuple of places. And this basically claims all the values inside, right? We can see here, we say place into value. Place into value says take value. So, yeah. Let's call this, yeah, take value, sure. How about, oh, this is into value, so it takes it by ownership. So it's fine, yeah. I guess it's an owned place after all. Into values. Okay. Value. Clone inferred. Sviatic 60. Hello. So what do I do here? We have value, tuple value. I say something like value dot tuple of owned places, yeah. Do I just do value dot 0 dot yeah, I think I just do value dot 0 with a reference. I mean, even without the reference, right? So this is a tuple of owned places. That makes sense, right? So now that it is a tuple of named places, a field value is an owned place. Wait, but when I clone owned places, what does that mean? Then if I clone it, I clone the value inside because it's an owned place, yes. But I don't want to do that. So that is actually wrong, and then it means that this variant stuff is also wrong. This cloning is wrong. Right? Yeah. Because all I care about here... So I want something similar to expect inferred, but that is not taking it by ownership, but taking a reference. If it's an inferable thing, though, that I cannot really get a reference to it. So it's only sometimes owned, and sometimes not. Okay, I can make this take a closure. This cloning is wrong. Okay. I don't think like making owned places cloned differently would be correct. Yeah, that's the reason I made a dedicated type for the owned place, so that when I clone it, I clone the value inside too. Yes. So I need to not clone. Expect inferred. I have something like function expect inferred ref, which takes a reference to self. And then says f impl fn a reference to value shape. Result, because I cannot return the reference directly. Match self. To have a wait, so if I have an inferable value, can I inspect it? Inferred. So this always clones a value, yes. Okay, so I just say expect inferred question mark. So this is going to be like a temporary thing, and then I call the function with it. Yes. And if it's non-inferable value, right, then I just call the function with this value, and I return okay. This must be a reference. Yep. So this means over here I don't really clone, but I inspect a place. I have a reference to the value inside this place here. This value I expect inferred by reference. And then we have the inferred value. That value we then further expect to be something. And then we do a double question mark because both of those can return an error. Is that it? Value. So value in this case is a reference to the value shape. Technically, this expect inferred should be like, so this is the expect. This was, yeah, this must be expected. Matching not inferred value with a variant. Maybe it can be an error, we'll see. Now we panic. Also, this expect inferred ref should have a possibility to return the result. So this returns R. And this is R, right? So I return OK. And then those values that f returns. Okay, so we have a value. Value expect variant. Now this also takes the thing by ownership, but I don't want it to be. So I think all of my expects that I have should take things by reference instead of taking by ownership. So instead of this returning me result variant value, this should return a reference to the variant value. Here I clone, it's fine for the errors. Okay. Sure, does that work? So expect variant returns a reference to the variant value, which means that value in this case is a reference to the variant value. this reference does not really exist anymore. So I say value. How do you test NixOS? What do you mean test? You want to know how they test NixOS when they are like working on Nix packages? There are some tests that they do, but I have no idea about how exactly. It's a little weird because it's inside a closure here. But I mean, I just tested by switching. Yeah, I just see if it's working. If it's not working, I can reboot into the old one. Yeah, that's what I do. There's NixOS rebuild test, but I always use the switch one because like if you like there is a test command which just switches the current system to this new like configuration, right? But then you forget to actually switch to it. So then when you reboot, it will reboot into the old system. So I always use NixOS rebuild switch. Personally, I don't know how other people do it, but I heard some people do it similarly. You also want to commit before you do it, and you want to like be able to select, like in your boot menu you can have the git commit specified in the boot menu. Not only the date, or I don't even remember, was there a date? I think there's date, right? But you can also have some comment inside. So if I go to like NixOS here, have something. Configuration. Revision. There you go. System configuration revision. There is this option which will be shown in your boot menu, so you know which revision you want to boot into, which git revision do you want to boot into, basically. Field name. And type this. Value. All right, let's just do this for now. If I do that, it's going to type check. It's just going to complain about some lifetimes, right? Because this is now a reference to a variant value. I mean, what I want to clone is to clone the place, but by reference. I want to get a reference to the place. That's what I want. And I can have that without lifetimes. If I do that inside... Maybe I return something like a name and value from here. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Name, name pattern Name pattern. And over here we have name. Maybe I should call this one like actual name. Yo, T2SD, thank you for the raid. The overlay is a little bit slow, but welcome. How are you guys doing? I'm slowly here reworking my programming language to have the ownership and movement and stuff. T2 Linux on ARM64 improvements. Yeah, I looked at your stream. It's I don't know. I don't understand nothing. I don't know if you guys understand anything what I'm doing here. I mean, just update packages. Is that it? I'm not sure. I saw you were just like updating the Rust compiler. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. Why is there so much work that you need to do to update it? T2 Linux is just a distribution, right? So you make your own patches to make it work on your distribution, right? And you just maintain. That's the wrong Linux. Wait, what? T2 Linux is a different one. Wait, what? The Linux support for Apple devices. T2linux.com, and this one is .org. Oh, really? Okay. I'm using NixOS. Is there any reason why I would want to switch to T2? Or like, what is it about actually? Local ultra portable package manager. So it's a package manager. It's not a distribution. Is it? Similar to Nix. Okay. Oh, so it's another Nix alternative. Nice. Is it better? Because Nix sucks. On Nix the language, at least. I hate it. I hate it so much. All right. I'm not really going to look into that right now. But maybe off stream. But yeah, when I tried looking at your stream, I didn't really understand much. Bash is better than Nix. I don't know. I don't know. Like if you try to make something very complex with Bash, it would probably not be a good idea either. Packaging AMD ROCm was a lot of work because their source tree is huge and a bit messy. Can you activate to Linux? You activate, alright. Those will 4 hours, up to 100 hours. Nice. So I was using like Arch before Nix, and I was like thinking about what should I try to go into Gentoo, for example, or something else, or maybe like should I try Linux from scratch? I mean, trying Linux from scratch would probably be a good exercise, but I don't know. I'm just not really into waiting for compilation. I'm already waiting for compilation all the time because I'm writing Rust, but like at least it's not 100 hours. Oh, wait, right? To is easier than Gentoo. Fully automated Linux from scratch. Oh, with cross-compile support and all the 5,000 packages. But like Gentoo is the same thing, right? Or is it not? I mean, when you say automated Linux from scratch, so this means that you actually do everything like on your machine, right? Do you not have like binary caches? So you don't need to actually build everything yourself? Like Nix, technically, I guess. If I have access to the Nix packages, like I never tried, but I think like sometimes when I update to like the latest Nix packages, I do build things from scratch, but I never actually build the entire system from scratch. But I think it should be also doable with Nix, right? If you just don't use the caches. Which base ISOs, okay. Is there like a frequently asked questions? Why like why would I use it? I don't know. I think I'm not going to like switch anytime soon. I'm interested in the in all the projects though. That is an alternative to Nix, if it is an alternative. I don't know if you've seen this other streamer who's working on Vorpal, also making an alternative to Nix, but so it's not like about the Linux distribution in general, but like I use Nix for like development environments too, right? Anyone can use T2, but most users are embedded developers. Okay. For embedded, T2 is the best. Yeah, I guess if I ever wanted to go into the embedded stuff. So far the closest thing that I have to embedded is like I have the Raspberry Pi here in a box, and it's doing nothing. That's like the closest I got to embedded stuff. All right, but yeah, really doing anything with it. Thank you for the raid again. Have a good day. Have a good lunch. Enjoy your lunch. All right. So what I'm doing here, what I was doing is we have a programming language which has now ownership semantics. That's what we were doing. So I can have, similar to Rust, if I have a string, this is not a reference to a string. Right now it's an own string. So if I say something like let y equals x, this moves the value from x to y, from one place to the other place. So if I try to see the value of x, I have moved out of it, but the y now contains the string. So yeah, then we can get like now references to things. We can dereference the references and stuff. And right now I'm working on pattern matching while capturing things by references instead of like matching and claiming the values. That's what I'm doing right now, in short. So if you're familiar with Rust, it's the ref keyword in Rust when pattern matching is happening. Rust match the ref keyword, this thing. That's what I'm doing. Because previously I was just moving and cloning the values. So over here, I try to get the actual name, the, let's say, actual value. Oh, wait. I stashed my stuff. Now I need to do git stash pop. Did I not save it or what? Discard. Stash pop. Okay, there you go. Actual name. Actual value. So this is the variant types. Variant types. This gives me the reference to the variant. So I return variant name. And I return variant value. So this is an optional owned place. I should do as ref map place get ref. So this gets rid of all the lifetimes because the places are being like reference counted inside. So this is now a string and a place ref. Oh, optional. Okay, so here I check that actual name is equal to the name pattern. And then I'm trying to match this and actual value. So now the actual value is a place ref, right? So then I do the matching recursively just to this value. There you go. Okay. Works. All right, now tuples. So yeah, there was a to do no clone, and now I'm actually going to do no cloning, right? So I'm expecting the place. Cloning the value here is wrong. Instead, over here we have a value. We say value. Inferred. Trying to pattern match this, but got place. Wait, what is that? The tuple patterns, okay. Value shape. Tuple. Okay, so what's happening here is that I have a place. I expect the place to be a tuple, right? So I see what's inside the place. We have a value. Value should be an inferred thing. If in this case, if it was not inferred, then I was panicking, right? Yeah, if it was inferred to something else, or if it was not inferred. There you go. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So first of all, I need to make sure that it is inferred. So value expect inferred. I don't clone, I just expect inferred by reference to. So, and then I have value inside, at a question mark. Here, I do double question mark already. Right, this value now is a value shape. So I'm going to match value. It must be a value shape tuple. Or I could just do here instead value expect tuple, right? Do I have something like expect tuple? I do have expect tuple. So the thing though, expect tuple, like all the other expects, was expecting by taking ownership, but now I don't want to do that, so we do this instead. We do this instead. So, and I clone here, that's fine. So by expecting the tuple, I do that, and then I am going to map as ref. Hold on, expect tuple, expect, trying to pattern match tuple, but got not a tuple. Let's just expect here. So I have a tuple now that I want to convert. So this is going to be a tuple of owned places. And then I want to get out of it place. I want to get the references to those places. Does that make sense? By removing the match, yep. So this is going to be what? This is now a tuple of place refs. That makes sense. That's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm zipping this here, and field value is going to be a place ref. That's exactly what I want to match against. Okay, nice. Okay, now you can clone the value to consume it because expect tuple 0 map. Over here I need to do as ref. There you go. Oh my god. Okay. Now we need to fix all the other errors. But the actual pattern matching, I think, is now working correctly. Let's see what this is about. We have a native function. A value is an optional value. But over here, the variant must be an owned place. Okay. If I go to the owned place, I can construct a new owned place. Optional owned place. We have a value. Yeah, so over here, instead of a box, we have a owned place new, right? Is that it? I think that's it. All right. Hash map get args. So now expect inferred, no, expect tuple is the one that is cloning the values, yes. Well, I mean, technically I want to change the way hash maps work. I want this to take a reference to. For now, it was cloning the value inside. Let's clone it for now. It's fine. To do no clone. Take ref. What do we have here? Pattern match assign. Assign to existing bindings. This is something that is doing assigning. Yes, okay. So in this case, I always do the value. This is being used when I use the assignment operator. It is impossible in Rust to use the assignment and take by reference at the same time. So this makes sense to, if I do the same way, this makes sense to be a value and not a place. But pattern matching requires a place. Pattern matching requires a place though. Wait, what if, so like, there's a playground, right? What if I said something like this? Let A and B. Let A, let B. Right? So I can say that A and B is equal to 1 and 2. Right? This compiles. If I said ref B, that doesn't work. This thing on the left is not really a pattern, right? This is just an expression. But I kind of make it a pattern right now. So I could make this compile. In this case, A would be like an int 32, and this would be a reference to an int. It's kind of weird. I want to change the way that works probably eventually. So let's say that this value is also going to be a place ref then. So when I'm doing the assigning, I also have a place. Yeah, sure, let's do that. And when I do the pattern match, it requires to have cast to an argument, and cast in this case is self. Pattern match. This also requires a place, which is a place ref. Is gaming good in Hyperland or is better in Extraland? Well, I'm playing everything in Hyperland. I don't see any problems with it. I mean, there were some problems, but most of the problems are because of the because I'm trying to play a Windows game and not a Linux game, right? So it doesn't really matter if I am on Hyperland or on X. On Hyperland and in general on Wayland, these things they work through X Wayland anyway. So there is like an X server running anyway. I don't know. Wayland has a lot of problems though, but I don't know. So does X. I don't know. I use this. No, I don't use anything. I just use Steam. This for Hyperland. What is this? Centerpiece. Blazing fast extensible launcher for Wayland. Written in Rust. I don't know. I mean, it looks okay. Sure. I use Wofi, the this thing over here. There's a lot of alternatives for this though. I use Wofi. Linux. Because previously I was using Rofi when I was on when I was not on Wayland. I know there's like just so many alternatives there. Like you can also, like for example, what do you use for your bar? You can use something like U, for example, and they make the widgets in general, which means that you can use it to make both a bar, right? And you can also make it to use the like these things. You can make launchers, Rofi style launchers, right? There's, I don't know. I have not been spending too much time on it. I'm using some pre-existing, like I used like HyperPanel here, which basically pre-configures this for me. Eventually, I do want to like customize but I don't know. I just, at the same time, I just don't want to spend too much time on it, you know, because like rising is also another deep hole. You can just do it forever. And then I do question mark, because now that one returns a result. All right, cannot move out. What is this? This is another hash map. This is a hash map. The function. Oh, it makes a type. It makes a type. Yes, that makes sense. It's a hash map type. Okay. All right. Expect tuple clone here. There you go. That's all I need to do. Pattern match. This is pattern matching in the match expression. For each branch, I pattern match. I do question mark here, and this can potentially fail with a none. That's why we have result option as a result of the pattern match. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. This is a similar thing. The is operator. Okay. Next, call function. I pattern match the argument with the argument pattern. Okay. But this requires a place. But since I'm calling a function... Wait. So what this means is that I can have functions that can be called as... like you know, in functions, they do have patterns as their argument, right? So this function f, this takes a, which is an I32, right? If I want this to be a reference, like let's say that there is a function swap in std, right? This would be like saying that at, which is a mutable reference, and then b is another mutable reference to t, right? That's the definition of the function. But this means that I need to call this function by saying mute a and mute b, like that, right? But at the same time, if I do something like let ref mute a ref is equals to a, you know, then this, like, you see how I did not do the at mute here, because this is a pattern which specifies the ref mute, right? This takes a mutable reference to a automatically. So what if we allowed over here to do the same thing? Is that useful or not? Or do I not want to do that? If I do over here, ref mute, and then we will be able to swap AB, like if we're writing C++. Wait, this actually, wait, hold on. First of all, okay, but this is wrong though, right? I think Rust should not make this compilable. This takes a mutable reference to the temporary variable, right? If I make this std mem swap a mid B. Yeah, this makes it weird because it over here it copies the value still. Let's say 1 and 2. G, A, and B. Wait, what? Wait, hold on a second. Cannot borrow A as mutable? And is it as it is not declared as mutable? Oh, wait, hold on. What is A? A is in this case already a reference. So we just do this. Right? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it was actually not swapped. Because I copied the values and then I took a mutable reference to a temporary variable that was passed into the function. That's weird. But like when I pass arguments to functions over here, I could pass a place expression instead of copying the value. So this would work and actually capture by reference this thing. Do I want that though? I don't know. Probably not. Let's clone here is what this means, right? So I say owned place new, and then I get reference to it. By the way, what happens to the owned place when I drop it? Is there an impl drop? There is no impl drop. If this is an owned place, I probably should implement a drop for it, so that if I have dangling references to it, then it will say that it has been dropped. Right? To do impl drop. I don't do it right now though. Okay, what is this? Macro const let. Over here, I clone a value. I evaluate this thing. Why do I clone this value here? What if I don't clone it? But I don't clone it, but I need to make this an owned place. Get ref. It's because I'm using it there. Constant value. Okay. I think the way constlet works is also a little bit weird. Sure, value clone. To do don't clone value. The fact that I'm cloning here is weird. What is this? Template pattern match. This is calling the template function. Value. Owned place new arg get ref. This is initialization of the number expression. Default context tuple. Unwrap. Clone. I think I just cloned here. Hello buffer. You can clone the value and consume it, but this might not be your desired behavior. Hash map insert. Clone. Whatever. Spec tuple clone. I'm just going to clone everywhere, I think, for now. Contains. Yeah. I could instead, like, instead of changing this method, just rename it to expect tuple and clone, right? Because I'm pretty sure in all of these cases I will want to clone, at least for now. Let's just do that. What is this? Unwindable expression. Pattern match. Yeah, this should be a place, right? So I pattern match against an owned place. Which probably should just be a pattern match against a value. Good. No method getref. Getref method is here. Into is here. What IDE am I using? This is NeoVim, but the NeoVide front end is for the animated cursor. Extracted place ref found value. Value clone. Yeah, to do no clone value. This one is a good one. Over here, I do not want to clone, because I want to evaluate to a place, right? Because when I do a match expression, the thing that I'm matching against is actually a place, not a value. That's right. That's right. Where am I from? We practice TDD. I'm from Russia. We do have some tests. That's what I'm trying to do today. I'm trying to fix my tests. There's a lot of work. I don't really practice TDD though, no. I guess practicing TDD means writing test before writing code. So like, you need to really know what you're making in order to do TDD. But I don't really know what I'm making, right? I'm experimenting. Trying to come up with a prototype. Of a programming language. There's a thing that's called eval place. That's right. So actually a match expression, this means that the match expression should have a value to be not an expression, but a place expression, right? I should be able to pattern match against a place, similar to the is expression that also should have a place expression, right? Do you practice TDD? I'm studying computer science, super excited to eventually understand this stuff. Me? I don't know. You? Do you? Do you practice TDD? You asked if I do it. Do you? Does anyone practice TDD? Some people think TDD is the wrong way. What's TDD? It's test-driven development. You write a test which helps you understand basically what you're trying to make first, and then you work towards making the test work, kind of. I guess is the idea, right? You do all the time, King. That's why you were asking how do you test Nyx? You just don't. Why is TDD bad? Why TDD sucks? Let's take a look. I think a lot of people hold this opinion, so let's steelman what we come up with. Important point. First, I'm not totally against ever using TDD. Just that it depends on the situation and it's not strictly required. In fact, there are a balance and pros cons. It's not a clear winner. Since Trager do it all the time, TDD, or like saying that TDD is bad. What was Trager doing? What OS am I using? I'm using NixOS, Linux. I was like, I recently learned a new thing. Since you like your tests, guys, do you know what mutant testing is? Mutation testing? Do you guys do this thing? So like when you write tests, you don't really know if your tests are good, right? There's no way to understand if they're good or not. So the idea here is you randomly change the code and you see if the test fails now. So like, if your test is good, then it would catch the bugs. So like this basically automates the way of introducing bugs code and see if your tests actually catch the bug. Do you guys do this? That's a nice idea, but I never did it myself. Called mutation testing. What am I developing right now? Well, it's in the title. I'm making a programming language. My own programming language. Revel place gives me a place ref. That's right. So I don't need to clone it here anymore, right? Oh, no, I do need to clone it because it's a ref. Because I iterate over all the branches. Yeah, but I don't actually clone the value because the value is now base ref, not a value. That's good. I should do more tests though, for sure. I should do more tests. But also, there's a lot of things that I want to do. Like despaghettify this code here. Give TDD a try. How do I give it a try? I mean, okay, next time I try to implement something, I try to test first, sure. But, I mean, today is all about fixing tests, so I'm kind of doing test-driven development right now. I'm trying to fix my tests. It's just like, I introduced a new feature which changed, like, the way my language works, like, a lot. right? So I'm like touching a lot of code right now because all my tests broke literally. That's what happened. Right? So I'm kind of doing test-driven development, right? Eval place. What is this new type? What's the value? Value is an owned place because variant owned place expect type. I need to do into value here. To value. Question mark. In TDD, you test behavior of your code, not implementation. Well, the implementation defines the behavior. Behavior is like, what's the difference between in behavior and implementation? Wait, what? What's the difference? I don't even know what to search for. What's the difference between code behavior and code implementation? Isn't that the same thing? Value, expect type. Value into value, question mark, expect type. This, a variant expression. To construct, we do it into an owned place instead of a box, okay. Pattern match assign takes a place. So even an assign expression technically also has a place and not a normal expression. So I evaluate a place here. Behavior is about what code can do. Implementation is about code, how code does it. Different things. Uh, um, no. How, oh, like what code can do is an interface. And then, I guess, an API. Implementation. So you can, I mean, yeah, you can like swap some parts of the implementation. Sure. But I never heard it being called behavior. That's just an interface. Behavior is literally like behavior is literally like how your interface is implemented. Because the same interface can behave differently. Behavior is implementation. I mean, I don't know, maybe my English is bad or something. But like the same API can behave differently based on the implementation. Anyway, there's a lot of different things that you can test. There's a lot of different types of tests. Test-driven development doesn't really like say that you should write a specific kind of test, right? You should just write tests, right? So the most important test is the, in my opinion, not the small unit tests, the thing that tests the entire thing that you're building. So I'm making a programming language. Does the programming language work correctly? I try to run a program, I see what the result I'm getting, and then that's what I'm testing, right? So that tests the entire thing, whatever that kind of test is called. What do we do here? Let. When I say let, this is also a place expression. Of course. We also evaluate place. End-to-end test. Yeah. I guess. Like if you're making a library, that would be called integration testing. If the final product is an app and not a library, then it's called end-to-end testing. TDD is more focused on unit testing. I thought TDD is like generally about the test. It doesn't really like. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it makes sense to write a unit test because you're just writing a small piece of code. We do have some unit tests too, but I don't know. Like it's not like for writing a unit test, I need to like be able to like have the units, you know. Like the way my programming language works is like highly recursive, so I cannot really like have one thing without having another thing. They all like coexist together in a big spaghetti mess right now. I'm not even sure if some of these things can be done without like it being a spaghetti. I mean, technically I have an interpreter and I have a compiler, right? So the compiler can trigger interpreter right now because I have compile time execution of the code, right? So I guess compiler depends on interpreter. So I could like test that separately, right? But in order to test that, I need to be able to construct the thing to interpret to like in order to run something, in order to run some code, I need to compile it, right? So in order to test the interpreter, I need a compiler. You know what I mean? Unless I somehow construct the compiled thing without a compiler. Which I technically can do, but it's a lot of work. So it's just easier to test them together. But I should try at some point to like make it like less cyclic. Right now the only thing that is extracted is the parser, basically. And we do have a separate test for that thing. A small test, but we do have it. All right. We only have 10 more errors. Let's go through them. This over here says a new type. Needs a type definition. Expect inferred and expect variant. This gives me a reference to the variant. So I just want to clone it here, I think. And that's it. Three more errors. Okay, so expression, value. So value. Mismatch types. Expected. A place expression got an expression. Yeah, so value now here should be a place expression. This is a const let. So in a const let, the place expression would indeed be This expression, new. So I just create a new temporary value with the constant here. Because it's a constlet. Yeah. New temp. That works. In a macro let, this value should also be this just be a place expression. I just change the type and it just works, I think. And then this thing, when I see a sign, this also should just be a place expression. There you go. Is everything going to work now? First try. Method expect place expression is never used. That's fine. I should probably disable the ones that say something is unused. If it's not an unused result. All right, let's see. It's just going to work, right? I first test manually. So the REPL works. Let x be hello. Oh, but I have no way of constructing a let ref x, let ref y is equal x. So, like, this was what I want to make work. Left pattern, right expression, source compiler 1292. Compiler 1292. All. Okay, yeah, it's just like this is being treated as a call in a pattern position. It should probably not panic, but like say that it cannot be compiled. But it's fine. So I just need to have a syntax for having a ref there, right? Let's have a syntax. Ref. We have a reference to a place. This is for constructing a reference explicitly, but we also want to have a syntax macro. So this is like what do I call it? Match ref. I guess a ref pattern, right? Ref pattern, something. Or should be the priority. I think somewhere around here should be fine. We have a call. It's very similar to a call. Kind of. Maybe. Let's say this. So we have a ref. And then we have the identifier. Right? Source compiler. Macro ref pattern. Macro ref pattern. This thing should be a pattern. right? This in expression position doesn't make sense, right? So it's a pattern. And then I have a single thing that's called identifier. So I construct an identifier. Let's see here, pattern. So it's a pattern binding, right? I need to find a binding by that identifier. Similar to over here. What is this though? Use existing bindings. And don't use existing bindings. Like I need to make this code. Extract that into something, right? Compiler scope, match hygiene. Yeah, there's like also hygiene being involved. Where do I get the hygiene from? It's AST data. Okay. This might be an identifier. El Hedge del Viento. Hello, I'm good. How are you? Okay, I think I want to extract this. Same something like function compile identifier pattern. So identifier AST is going to be an AST. AST async result pattern. I think this. Going to make all of this code go that way. Right? So I need to know what's hygiene, what's name, and what is span. Okay, so if it's an identifier here, then I say something like file identifier pattern AST. What is this, Godot? No, this is not Godot. So I don't really match the data here either then, right? I don't even need the score. That's what I do. So I need to say that let AST, this must be a simple. And token must be an identifier. So token is, what is this? Token. Identifier. All I care about is the name here. And data is going to be AST data, span hygiene. And that's it. So this must be AST. But if it's not that, then I'm going to irebail saying that expected identifier. What's this? And vimrc lua. lsp config nix. So these are the options. Options for NixOS, options for Nix for Plague parts. Okay. I see. So like you can tell the LSP to collect all the options from whenever you want, right? Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I can have auto completion for my own options that I define. But the problem is still like I don't want it to have these options in all the files. This makes it in all the files, right? I mean, this is project root, right? Like, what if NixOS configuration is not in the project root? Is this going to, like, what, crash the language server? Or is it going to ignore it? Yeah. Anyway. So that works, and you have nice auto-completion. Good. Okay, try writing the expression in OK. Yes, okay. Sure, let's do it in OK. So here we go. The bind mode should be different. Bind mode should be an argument to this function. The other argument is going to be bind mode, which is pattern bind mode. There we go. So in this case, if I'm just compiling an identifier as a pattern, then by default, the pattern bind mode is going to be claiming the value. Question mark? Consider awaiting? Sure. Wait, is there anything async there even? There is. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. So then here, when I say macroref pattern, I know that this identifier is the AST of the identifier, right? So I want to have a pattern file identifier pattern. The identifier AST is this, and then the bind mode in this case, since this is a ref pattern, the pattern bind mode is going to be ref. Okay. And then we say await question mark. Don't need span here, it seems. Okay, there's no wait, no more errors. No more errors. Okay, let's try if this is going to work. Let x be high. Let ref y be x. Y is a reference to a string. Y dereferenced is high. So y is referencing to x. If I say x is equal to y, then y is still pointing to the same thing. There you go. Okay, so let ref works, I think. Why was I and why did I need that? Okay, so that's a good thing. So let's go back to testing. There was a specific test that I was trying to make work, right? The variant types, that's right. So would you just run variant types? Okay, so not a place expression. While compiling then, variant types, line 3. Variant types. Line 3, let value is this. Built-in macro variant, not a place expression. Okay, that makes sense actually. Compiler, macro variant. Yeah, if it was trying to see if it's a place expression. But if it's a place expression, then all I need to do, if cdy is compiled type place expression, then I need to return okay, compiled place expression, new temporary Java self file st. That thing, like a temporary. Around it. Cannot hash global context. Okay, so it actually did compile everything. And we have this error. Cannot hash global contexts. Let's see. So I'm trying to evaluate the let expression at line 20 to 25. Line 20 to 25. So I'm trying to compile this thing. This is compiled. This code is already running. Seems successfully. Right? But then this thing does not work. Why not? The reason is because this is a function, right? This is a function. The function has and I'm trying to determine if this function is a copy type or not. That's what's happening. When I'm trying to determine that, I'm trying to make sure that the type is fully specified. But it's not fully specified because functions have a hidden argument, or I mean, it can be hidden, the contexts. So that's the global contexts, right? Because my function in this case is a string into unit. No, yeah, there's no parenthesis here, so it's not really obvious. But I guess it's an either type into unit, which is the type of this function, and the type of this function also has the context, which we don't know about, has not been inferred yet. But I guess like function types should function types even be copy at all? I mean, it depends. This depends. What kind of a function do we have? I can for now make all of the functions copyable easily. Right? So over here we say is type a copy type. Just for some reason defined in the value module, whatever. But right now I say that these things are copy, and then functions we don't really know. I'm not saying that they're not copy, I'm not saying that they're copy, so I'm trying to find the trait implementation. And that requires a full type. Let's just say for now that these are always copy. Probably some of these other things also I want to be always copy, I don't know. Cannot finish parsing if underscore expected then. Wait, what do you mean? We're in types 5. Wait, what do you mean? You cannot parse that thing? At column 19, it's over here. Oh, because of the probably... So over here, I'm not using the parentheses, right? If I use parentheses, it probably is going to be fine. The priority on this is 100. Wait, but why did it run before then? Okay. All right. I don't know. Let's see next. We have the type string and a reference to a string on line 7 because print. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So value is of type reference to string, but print right now is a thing that right now print is a thing that's taking string by ownership. So what I should do, kind of, is to say that print is a function that takes a reference to a string, not a string. Right? But then, like, my string literals like this, right now, these work only for own strings. But I have it working for both owned and reference strings. I think I can. Like similar to the numbers, right? Similar to the numbers, if I say something like let x be 1, 2, 3, right now I know I don't have any defaults, so it doesn't know what the type of 1, 2, 3 is. I need to specifically say that it is an int32, right? And then it's an int32. If I say that it's an int64 or a float, it can be a float, sure. So what if we had string literals also overloadable, right? So like imagine if in Rust you could say let as string is hello, right? You cannot do that because this is always a stir and not a string. I'm currently having it the other way around, basically, but yeah. So I can have a default for it. Hello Nigel, welcome back. Do you think we should in cast, Nigel, have this to work? So like we should be able to compile this code, this code, this code. We should be able to compile this code. My custom string is hello. You know? So like based on type inference, I decide what this is. Similar to how it is already done for numbers. We can have the same thing for strings. in this case, I will be still be so like if print is a function that takes a reference to a string and not a known string, then the print this is going to work. I don't need to take a reference to a string literal then, right? I don't know. Let's do it without that for now, but then it means that, okay, let's see. If I go to standard library, we have a print, right? So right now print is a function from string that takes a string, right? But that should instead take a reference to string and then do whatever with it, right? Did you try to see what why Rust doesn't do that? I don't know. Did anyone ever want that for Rust? Rust overloadable string literal. Like there is, for example, in Haskell, I'm pretty sure they have it. Oh, look at this. Wait, hold on. Overload string. This is not even for Haskell. Oh, this is from Haskell, but for Rust. Look at this. So someone made 9 years ago a plugin for a compiler, which is overload strings. Okay. So I'm not the first person to think about this, right? For sure. And I mean, yeah, it exists in Haskell already. So where the ambiguity leads to errors in type inference, you can use type ascription to disambiguate. So, yeah. The annotation does not automatically recurse into submodules. Alright, I mean, that's what someone made. Was that considered to be a part of Rust? Maybe I should look into Rust RFCs. If I look into RFCs and say overload string. I mean, they literally were calling that the Haskell overloaded string. Maybe if I look for that, because it's similar to Haskell, right? But that cannot be found here. Okay. I mean, researching why Rust doesn't do something is difficult. But sometimes like some of these decisions are just very old, like before Rust 1.0. Let's see, overloaded strings. Let's just take a look at Haskell instead, right? Like why? So this enable overloaded string literals. So GHC supports overloaded string literals. Normally a string literal has type string, but with overloaded string literals enabled, a string has type is string AA. So it's based on a trait basically. Yeah. So you can have your own custom string, and then you just use the string literal where your own custom string is being used. So like, yeah. What are we trying to think about? Is that any bad? Like, is this considered bad maybe in Haskell for some reason? Overload string is bad. Haskell using overloading strings. Packages peppered with overloaded strings instances that can cause surprising runtime errors. What does that mean? The extension, I wish it was standard Haskell. Wait, what? Okay, so some people think that it should be standard. It often feels like it should be, but it can cause ambiguity problems. However, I think in practice, whether we're passing a string, literal-like things around, we usually got an exact choice when aligning data types. It doesn't happen too much in practice. The ambiguity should be resolved by defaulting ambiguous string literals to string. I mean, in my opinion, ambiguity should just require type annotation. So like that's what I already do for integers. If you have two things, if you have two like it's only ambiguous because of like wait, why do they have ambiguity in Haskell though? I thought it's only like a problem with defaults. This is really the wrong way to do it. I hope we all come up with a better alternative that before this becomes standard. The problem is that we are resolving literals at runtime. Yes, okay. I mean, this is yes. This is something that I don't want. This is going to be happening at compile time. For sure. With compile time evaluation. I do not want this to happen at runtime, yes. So like my solution is having overloaded strings and overloading like other literals, but by running those things at compile time. It's true that the same problem already exists for numeric literals, so yes, it's the same. But it's clearly a problem for string literals. Packages peppered with overloaded strings instead that can cause surprising runtime errors. What we need is a way to specify coercions of literals with functions on concrete types that can be evaluated at compile time. Yes. The fanciest way would be to teach the compiler to infer whether the conversion method is complete, is concrete. What does that mean? Conversion method is concrete. Specify coercions of literals with functions on concrete types that can be evaluated at compile time. At the opposite extreme, ugliest but easiest to implement would be to provide syntax to specify th expressions, template Haskell expressions for coercing literals. Okay, so basically they want what I'm doing in cast. All right, good. So we can just proceed. I think we are all good here. We don't have the downside of the things being run at runtime because we're going to do that at compile time. I mean, it depends. Like the literal, like for example, let's have an example of like integers, right? When you write some code, like I guess one of the easiest examples is the big integers, right? So you say like x is a big int, and you say something like this, right? So like what should happen? Should this big int be constructed at compile time or at runtime? Right? Because this requires allocation and shit. Same for strings, kind of. I don't know, maybe this should always run at compile time anyway, so like this should be, it should be possible to construct a big int at compile time. Would I sometimes want this to be done at runtime? Can you make a const vec in Rust? Something that requires allocation. Let the vec i32 is const vec 1, 2, 3. Can you do this in Rust today? Allocations are not allowed in constants. Is it going to be allowed? Like the question is, even if I do this at compile time, should be possible to use it at runtime too, right? Is the issue. All right, anyway, we'll figure it out. So print is a function that takes a reference to a string. Output is another thing, by the way. So output current native output. What did I do today? I made the ref patterns. Wait, why does this even work? This is a reference to string. Wait, what? std print. Did I not? Oh, I did not save the file. Okay. Yeah. So now we have the type problems. Here's what I did. I made the ref keyword x b1 to 3. Let's try something more complex. Let's say x is a tuple of a 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. This is going to be an int 32. Not a place expression. Okay. I should really have that in more places. Macro tuple. Yeah, it should just be this. Let's try again. Let x be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So x is a tuple of an integer and a string, right? Now, this is not a copy type, right? This is not a copy type. If I say x, oh wait, hold on. I have no way to say like .0 right now. So I want to have like these to be named fields. So number is this, and then string is this. So there we go. We have now have named fields. So x.num is this, x.stir is this, x is that, right? So what I can do is I can say let ref stir is x.stir. Stir is a reference to this string, So I'm referencing a field here, right? Instead of taking a reference directly here, I'm trying to pattern match. Like in this case, it's not really necessary, but let's also say something like string. Oh, but this, yeah. I cannot mutate based on a place right now, by the way. Yeah. When I do assign, this would always be a place expression. I'm also realizing that. Yeah, when my assigning operator right now takes a pattern. It's a really weird. This should be a place instead. This is the way. But anyway, string is that, right? But why is this needed is because in presence of pattern matching, I want to say let number and string is x, right? In this case, string is the same thing, number is this thing, right? But x has been moved out actually. So in this case, actually, I only moved out the string because number is a copy type, right? But string is not a copy type. So when I say let.num.store is x, I'm trying to like claim both values, right? Claiming string results in it moving out. That makes sense, right? Let's reinitialize x. So now if I do the same thing, but I say stir is a ref stir, in this case, I see that number is 1 to 3 and stir is a reference to the string inside x, right? Because otherwise, I couldn't do it in a single pattern match. Was the behavior of this. So like I do not have that. Rust makes it possible to have the reference here, right? But it is not going to work for me because ref expression inferred as a tuple. But this must be so this must be a reference basically. So Rust makes it possible with a feature that is called match ergonomics, which is automatically referencing things for you. But the full syntax, even in Rust, is, since this is a reference, right? This should be the same type on the left side and on the right side. It must be the same type. This is a reference, and this is just a tuple. So this must be also a reference. So that's what you should match against, right? But then it also still like moves the things out. So you still want to, like, for the full syntax to have the ref keyword. So like until I have the match ergonomics, it's going to be like old Rust, which I don't know if you see in Nigel, but you actually had to do this before. And I guess I don't have the ref patterns right now, so it doesn't even work. Match ergonomics over here. This is the same thing. So like sometimes you still need to do explicit ref anyway, even with the match ergonomics. So it's an important feature. That's what I did. Okay, and then I'm trying to make the standard library print function should take a reference to a string instead of a string. This makes it so that nothing type checks, right? In this case, particularly in line 44. To 48. Yeah, so this over here line is a string, which is because of the output right. last stream he was talking about copying a string and he's still stuck on copying the string. No, I'm trying to like reference the string instead of copying the string now. So I should have output context. Output context says write is a function which takes a string by like value, but I should instead take it by reference. So argument should be not a string, it should be a reference to a string, like that. If this is a reference to a string, then that should be not a string. This should be a ref. A ref is going to give me the place ref, right? So, and then I'm going to inspect the value. And over here we have a string inside, which is the actual string. And here we say cast output right s stringception. So cast output right should also, so now this can take a reference and not an owned string. Right? I'm no longer owning strings. So in this case, as expect inferred by reference. This is all weird a little bit. As expect inferred ref. This must be a string. So expect string should also give me a reference to a string. And this can also fail. Got a triple question mark here. Okay. So expect string should also be a thing that takes a reference now. Macro import. Expect string to owned. With all the question marks, Rux looks very similar to brainfuck. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is a better way to write it there, but I'm not trying to think too much about it. Temporary value. Dropped while borrowed. Spec string to owned. Yeah, that's fine. Brainfuck doesn't have question marks, does it not? Name. Expect string to owned. is s expect a string to owned or this over here, it takes named. I can actually over here just use string slices directly. So instead of take named, I can get named. But then expect inferred. It's okay, whatever. Too lazy to do this. We are going to do to owned here. But maybe later to do not to owned. Back string value cars of a string to owned. To do use ref. The same thing. Like this over here is a function that iterates over character of a string. I really don't need to clone the string to do that, right? They should just take a reference. Panic message right now also takes the string. Instead of a reference to a string like print, but I'm going to start with just print. Parse is the same thing. To do ref. I just want to start with a print. Expect inferred gen sim. This is fine. I can do it with here. Remove this method call. LDGM 57 in a few hours. Yeah, are you going to do it? I don't think I am. I think I'm going to play Factorio tomorrow. Expect string to owned as their. It's fine, it's fine. We're doing a lot of cloning by doing that. But it's fine. Like read file doesn't need to clone the path to what if the theme is related to trains? No, I'm not. I'm just not going to do it anyway. I'm too lazy. I can I don't know. I thought I can do something, but like for somebody else as part of a team, but I'm not sure if I will even want to do that. But if someone is participating and loot them there, I can record you some sounds with my microphone, like a death of a character, like I usually do. If you want. All right, we have expected reference to string, got a string, line 47, std lib, line 47. Okay, so this over here, right? So it's complaining about this line. This is a string, literal, and not a reference to a string. So in order to make this compile, I need to do that. I need to write that. Okay. So I either put the references here explicitly, or I make the string literals an overloadable thing. Which one do I do? Which one do I do? I think I'm okay with having a default. It's not even difficult to implement. Like over here, I compile in an expression. What's a simple expression? Oh, simple expression is anything. Maybe it should be called any expression. Oh wait, simple. This is always a constant. All right. Expression. It's always a constant. Yes. I would need a dedicated string expression, I guess. Because for numbers, I have the dedicated number, right? Yeah, I guess I should do the same. We have a number and we have a string, which has the raw representation. I guess I'll just have the token here. Token, but it's specifically token string. There's a raw and contents. Let's just have raw and contents. Let's just do the same thing. Sure, so over here, instead of making that stuff, in this case, yeah. See, it's already kind of like dependent if it's a type, based on the types of quotes here. Hello, Infinite Coder. Maybe I don't do this right now. Okay, fine. I don't do it right now, but I want to do it. I want to do it. I'm already doing too much. I should just finish what I started. We make a billion string types in cast the Infinite Coder. That's what we're doing. String, add a reference to a string, and then more is going to come. No overlay in Copperland. No, I just disabled it. I mean, something doesn't work right now. Shader compilation. I'm too lazy to look into it. All right, so what we do is we write a reference. There you go. There you go. Line 62. Reference. Okay, std_print is a function from reference to string to unit, right? So if I say std_print hello world, this no longer works because we expect a reference to a string. So if I do a reference here, then we see hello world. Okay. This will break some other tests, but let's take a look at this one. The variant types. Line 6. Yeah, so this is now whenever I'm printing that, I need to do a reference. Stringster vector, yeah. But I will make it overloadable. I will make it overloadable. Where you should be able to write this and it should work for any type. But it doesn't work right now, so I need to do the reference manually. Expected type got string. Match branch pattern 23. 23 over here, print value. So in this case, value is the type of the either type. Yeah, so like over here, as you can see, the value, this one, is a type string. Yeah, because write is a string. So when I'm pattern matching, this value is a reference to a string. So in order to make it a reference, I need a ref here. Or I can make a reference there. Like, it doesn't matter. And those two should work. And this is going to panic. Okay, so this is the successful test. Let as int is nice, any type. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go that far to make it work for integers too. Okay, that test is success. Let's try running other tests. It's not going to work. But let's see. How bad is it? Like, it's not going to print hello world anymore. I think I don't want to change the code though. I do want to have the overloadable strings first, but I don't want to work on it today. So this is the only test that's now passing. Okay. Everything else is failing. Okay, sure. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we also are hanging. What's happening right now? Yeah, it's trying to run the example. It's using all the CPU, 40% CPU here. They were passing for the previous commit? Yes, they were. They were passing, but like, I mean, this feature is changing too much. Like previously language worked like your normal garbage collected language, where everything was cloned around. But now, I move things. They become invalid, and that makes everything fail. Why does it work forever though? That's a weird thing. Let's run unsafe, for example. Oh, I think it's just waiting forever, literally. So yeah, if something doesn't compile, then it hangs. And that's a bug also. So yeah, in unsafe example, for example, yeah, it's just trying to print string, but this now takes a reference. So that now that one works. Okay, I think like overloadable strings are not difficult to make, but I need to stop the stream. Instead of fixing the tests, I would make overloadable strings instead. So I'm just going to commit everything that I did. And it kind of works, I guess. Kind of works. I mean, I made a ref pattern basically. That's good, but yeah, the tests are all failing. They were failing not only today, like they were failing yesterday too, or like last time I broke them. All right, good enough. Good enough for today. Good progress. Next time going to be next week. On weekend, I'll play Factorio. Wait, when is LD Jam actually starting? No, it's in 10 hours. Yeah, it's like not soon. Just because he doesn't know the keybind to focus the commit description. I never write a commit description. Do you do that? I mean, very rarely, I guess I do, but yeah. Conventional commits. Yeah, I don't use conventional commits. Maybe I should though.
To see it. Is it the file specification or the behavior? There's so much.
Okay, see you next time. Bye.
I think that specifies the port, I guess. Yeah, I mean, their source code.